Hello and welcome to Are We There Yet? Market Scales Transportation Mobility Focused video podcast series that explores the most exciting things happening in the world of transportation today. And one thing happening within transportation that I'm really excited about is the fluid power revolution. And the organization that's really leading the way within this revolution is a really exciting company, Terzo. And to speak with us about some of the exciting things that they're doing within this revolution, I have Zach Lindsley, the National Sales Manager for the organization. Really excited to speak with him today. So Zach, hello and welcome to Are We There Yet?
Yeah, it's good to be here. Thanks for having me, Grant.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I really enjoyed connecting with you a few months ago and just learning a little bit more about Terzo. And as you've shared with me, and as I well understand, there really is a revolution happening right now within fluid power. Would you mind telling us a little bit more about this revolution within the world of transportation and mobility?
Yeah, absolutely. So, especially on the mobile side of equipment, moving towards electrification, it really has people going and looking for efficiencies. In the past, you had a diesel engine that just had an abundance of torque, and you could refill it in a few minutes. So now that you have to really look at your duty cycles, look at your efficiency of the system, it has people looking at how do we do things a little bit differently? Do we absolutely need this giant pump that we've been using forever? Can we, split up the system a little bit differently? Can we run a different valve system? Really looking at all types of efficiency, and that's really what Terzo was founded on, was finding the different way to do hydraulics and thinking of it differently.
Yeah. You have some incredible experience within the industry and definitely very well recognized within the world of transportation mobility with some of the incredible products and technology that you offer. But as you just shared a little bit, especially within this this electrification movement that we're seeing within transportation and kind of this future of mobility that we're all very involved in. Really, even more power, more opportunity in the world of fluid power, and some of these innovative solutions, like you talked about, are really more important. Can you tell us a little bit more about why within this electrification future mobility movement that fluid power, as I understand, is really more important than ever?
Yeah, I mean, in my opinion, fluid power is never going to go away. There's always going to be a use for it. A lot of people always want to talk. We're going to electrify it. We're going to get rid of all the fluid, or we're just going to electrify a machine, and they want to do all of it. They're taking out the hydraulics. It's dirty, it's oil, it's nasty, but it's going to be part of electrification, and it has to be, just because of the power density that you get from hydraulics, the shock absorption that you're able to get out of it in certain applications. There's the best example that I see out there is a Bobcat skid steer that they have, or a Bobcat, skid steer.
Yeah.
That they actually took out all the hydraulics on it. It used electromechanical actuators to run everything, which it works. And it'll be interesting to see how it does out in the field, because it's got to be ungodly expensive, and I just don't picture those ball screw actuators, handling when you have that bucket down and it's going across the ground and it hits something and jams up, and you get some spikes back into those actuators. I just don't see it lasting the way that a hydraulic system would. So it really, ties into that conversation of how do we do the hydraulic system differently, so that, we still get those benefits of hydraulics, but we can make it so that, you're using power on demand, like the ball screw actuator would, and you're getting the maximum amount of efficiencies you can out of that hydraulic system.
Yeah, that makes sense. So really kind of an ultimate solution is really kind of a combination of some existing kind of traditional methods, technologies with the hydraulics, as you mentioned, certainly, electrification as well. So it really sounds like an ultimate solution is not just kind of a one way or the other. It's really kind of a combination of some of these kind of proven methods along with some of the newer technologies, and kind of integrating all that together, it sounds like.
Exactly. I think that's the way that, we always looked at it, is you could have sort of these electromechanical or electro-hydraulic power units that are tied to individual actuators, so that, as you're using that actuator, that's the only time that there's a load or there's a power draw, so that you have a true power on demand system. And that was the kind of distributed hydraulic system concept that Terzo Power Systems was kind of founded on, is really developing that technology to be able to do that in a way. And I think, in a way we were ahead of our time when the company was founded back in 2014. But now we're getting to a point where electrification has started, it's really taken off, and now we have that technology built, and now people are wanting to start applying it and getting those benefits. So it's really exciting.
It is very exciting. Absolutely. And I think, like you said, maybe a little bit ahead of the curve, but great to kind of establish that foundation and technology and products. And, a lot of what we're talking about today, I mean, this isn't just, newer technologies that you've developed or kind of concepts. I mean, these are products that are in the field on some of these, next generation vehicles already working and performing, better than traditional methods. So I really love that. Would you, maybe for the audience, I'm really, familiar myself, of course, with some of the types of vehicles out there on the road today that are utilizing, your products and technologies. But what are you finding are some of the best applications in terms of kind of, vehicle types for integration of your product and technologies?
Yeah. So, our main application right now is electrohydraulic steering. So, like I said, we founded the company based off of this distributed hydraulic system and a different way of looking at hydraulic systems, mainly for off-highway equipment. But really, with the explosion of electrification, there was this need for figuring out how to do some of these auxiliary functions that would have been a belt engine-driven function, and power steering is one of those. So that's our main application. Kind of just fell into our lap based off the stuff we had built for other things. And then we kind of tailored the product as we got more and more into it, towards that application to make it, more cost effective, make it fit better, work better, design it a little bit better. So that's been our main application. And looking at that, it's been duty cycle dependent, I say, for which ones kind of catch on in that market. So I think the best duty cycle that fits electrification is school buses by far. And that's a big one for us. Is school buses. Then there's the last mile delivery vehicles, which is another one. We're doing really well in that market. Several OEMs that are either in production now or will be, and both in the U.S. and in Europe. I think Europe is a little bit ahead of us. So we have a couple OEMs over there that are in production and moving forward really well. It's a last mile delivery, and then there's a scattering of them. There's, we've done some refuse vehicles, the things that go and pick up containers. Now those are really cool applications, because then you get to do auxiliary functions on top of just the steering. And that's really our goal. I think eventually we want to get more into the auxiliary functions, because that's the fun part, actually. Steering's an easy one. It's you're just circulating fluid with an open center pump. I want to do those complex systems and get more into that side of things.
Definitely. You have just those are some awesome applications. School buses, the refuse vehicles. I've had the chance to even see some of your products and some of these newer vehicles, and it's really impressive. And I've had a chance to even speak with some of these OEMs, about some of their work with you, and they're definitely seeing the improvements already. But I'd love to learn. So when you speak with OEMs, when you speak with manufacturers of these types of vehicles, I'd love to learn about some of the advantages that you really highlight within speaking with some of these manufacturers compared to maybe what they're currently using or traditional technologies. What are some of the benefits and advantages of integrating your technology within some of these vehicles that manufacturers can expect?
So I mean, for us, one of the main benefits right now is our packaging. We're one of the few people out there that have a high voltage motor with an integrated inverter, and then an integrated pump that has a few features as well that kind of tie in specifically to hydraulics. That's something that, building our product, all of us have a hydraulic background, so we kind of tied in some special features to the unit that are specific to hydraulics. So internally we have pressure sensors that are going to be reading the high side pressure for our power steering unit. So what we plan on doing with that long term is is that gives us the ability to kind of monitor that pressure, monitor pressure spikes, monitor different events. And,
Mm-hmm.
In the long term, we'll implement some AI technology into the inverter side of it so that we can do some predictive maintenance, and predictive, failures, to be able to alert people as like, hey, the unit is degrading. You've hit this many pressure spikes. This usually relates to some kind of, service needing done, or something along those lines. We're still working out the details on what exactly, what exactly how exactly all that's going to work. But yeah, that's
Sure.
the goal long term, is being able to implement some type of AI and some type of predictive maintenance within the inverter side.
Yeah, that's incredible. Y'all really are on the cutting edge, and thinking already about integrating AI and some of those newer technologies is really exciting. And I can imagine a real advantage, in addition to your packaging, of clients working with you in your organization, just kind of leading the way in some of that technology development. I'd love to hear more about you. You shared some of the fun applications, and steering systems, for example, pretty easy. It's just a natural fit for the technology. But you mentioned the cool application within the refuse trucks, for example. What are some of the other kind of cooler auxiliary functions, applications that you're excited to work more with, and kind of see a lot of opportunity, kind of looking ahead into the future? What are some of those fun projects or auxiliary functions, if you don't mind sharing?
Yeah. So this is kind of one of the things that I was looking
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
towards electrification. They're going to be looking to do this, and they're going to be the ones looking for the most efficiency in hydraulics. So they'll
Yeah.
be the first ones to adopt something.
Yeah. You mentioned the ACT Expo. You and I spent some time in Anaheim this past week at the ACT Expo, and that's an Advanced Clean Transportation Expo. It's kind of the premier event of the year within clean transportation. And I know you and I had a lot of fun at the event, and speaking with companies and kind of seeing some of the latest and greatest kind of in the world of clean transportation. Just in general, any insights, takeaways, things that you thought were especially cool at ACT this past week?
Yeah, it was a really really good show. One of the things that I felt like was buzzing around, and I heard a ton of people talking about it, was the difference in, a few years ago where it was very, very battery electric focused. Everything was electrification, go battery electric, where I think a lot of people have started to realize that battery electric isn't necessarily feasible in certain applications. You're just
Yeah.
not going to get, they're just so power intensive, and you're just not going to have enough battery on board to be able to handle the duty cycle of applications. So there was a shift, I think, towards some fuel cell and some hybrid, and some cool technology and some cool advancements in on that side of things. So I
Yeah.
really felt like there was a bunch of that. One company, Hyliion, has a really interesting, I don't even know how to describe exactly what it is, but a generator setup that is multi-fuel, that was on the side of their vehicle, that I think is going to be a really interesting one to watch and see where that goes. And see, they actually have it integrated in a vehicle, in a running vehicle right now that they're going to be doing testing with. So that's even cooler, that it looks as amazing as it is, and they talk it up really well, but it actually is in a vehicle and will be running, doing testing. So that's amazing, and that could be a huge advancement, and something because I always look at, fuel cells are really cool, and I think they've gotten a long way, but there's always that big elephant in the room of how do you produce hydrogen efficiently, and how do you transport it and get it to everywhere, and how do you make hydrogen cheap? Whereas, if you have, natural gas is in abundance and it's there. We need stepping stones, I think. You need to be able to step on that natural gas one, which is definitely cleaner than diesel, and it's definitely an improvement. So you need to step on that one and sit there for a while, and then figure out the hydrogen stuff, and that's probably where it'll be long term.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I had the chance to check out their truck as well at ACT, and I agree, it's incredible. And I think if I remember right, that can operate on something like up to 20 different types of fuel. And so I think that really speaks to what you just said in terms of it really being kind of a solution, probably multiple fuels, multiple technologies. It's not just kind of electric battery, as you shared, integrating your products and technologies. And so definitely, couldn't agree with you more. And that I think that our kind of path towards clean transportation is, probably multi-fuel and using, some of these technologies or different fuel types as stepping stones to get there. So very much, agree with you there. And I think that's part of why I think this clean transportation movement, I think is so exciting, right now. And gosh, just as you shared, I think year to year, just even that conference specifically, is always evolving in terms of kind of different technologies, different fuels that are out there. But I think, as you would probably agree, if you spend any time at that conference this past week, this movement is here. There's vehicles on the road. There's products and solutions like those that you offer. Fleets and organizations are already starting to see improvements by integrating some of these technologies. So what a cool time to be working within this industry.
Oh yeah, I mean it's a huge opportunity. I think it's.
Mm-hmm.
Sprouting off separate divisions of their companies so that they can move faster and move quickly to develop stuff. It's really cool to be able to work in this market and see it, firsthand.
Yeah, definitely. Well, you're doing just that, and not only I think working within the industry, but I think you and Terzo are very much just really at that kind of cutting edge of technology development. So really exciting to be working with your organization, and just such a big part of, I think, that innovation that's really driving everything forward right now. I know that as a result of our conversation today, there's going to be a lot of companies out there that are going to be excited to learn more about your organization and your products and your solutions, and certainly are going to want to reach out and explore integrating some of your technologies within their vehicles. Do you mind maybe directing the audience to your website and where they can maybe learn a little bit more about the company and solutions?
Yeah, definitely. So terzopower.com. There's a ton of information up there on our existing products, and some kind of touching on what we plan on coming out with in the future. There's if you contact if you go right into the contact page on there, it goes pretty much directly to me. So that's an easy way to get in touch with me.
Very good. Very good. Well, thank you so much. And I definitely, recommend check out the website. Is actually here, terzopower.com. It's an awesome website. They do a really good job of, I think, just a nice overview on some of the products, some of the solutions and technologies. And so I know you'll find it really interesting and engaging to spend some time on the website. So definitely would encourage, members to check that out. And Zach, just so much appreciate your time today. This has been such a fun conversation, and as I've shared, a big fan of your company, and so just really appreciate you taking the time to stop by the podcast and sharing some of the cool stuff that you're working on. So thanks for that.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Of course. Thank you.